Bienvenidos! Can you find the map? That's right. Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the Daily Creative Challenge for Adobe Illustrator. My name is Andrew Hockrattle, and today we're making a map. We're going to be having a lot of fun yeah, just playing around with a bunch of tools in Illustrator that will help us make guides and grids. So it is going to be a little bit of a technical day, but hopefully you will learn something and you'll have a lot of fun along the way. And hello, lots of friends in chat. Audrey, Sheldon, nice to see you. Gregory Wolf, Emma. Hi, everyone. Nice to see you. Let me know where you're watching from in the world. Always one of my favorite things to see where we are in the world. So let's go ahead and jump in to where you are, what's going on. Hi, my name is Andrew Hockrattle. You can follow along right here on all social media, including here on Behance, where I go live and live stream some of the challenge feedback from the challenges that you are doing today, and hopefully have been doing this week. So those challenges are right over here at behance.net/challenge/illustrator. This is where everything is. This is your hub where you can get connected, where you can get resources, and where you can watch the old videos from our past challenges. So you can click right here to take the challenge. There is only one day left, so click the button anyway. We have gone through a whole bunch of stuff. We've been doing a Western theme for our last 2 weeks of challenges, and we had a lot of fun, learned a bunch of things, and today we're continuing that on by making a map. That's right, we are going to a destination to find a little town that's not very well known, but we will be discovering it, and tomorrow we will be illustrating that town and working with the recolor artwork tools to create that town both at dawn and at dusk, just in case we need to duel. So stick around for today and tomorrow. It's going to be a great time. Another way that you can get involved is to post on Behance using hashtag AI Daily Challenge, and that can get you into the running to be featured here in the gallery for Adobe Illustrator challenges. We've got some great challenges from the past. This is when we did our gym theme. Really great work, and a lot of people have asked, what is a case study? This is what it is. It's literally just a culmination, a gathering of all of the different challenges we've done over these weeks. I've seen a lot of your faces here in chat every time, and y'all have been participating. So make a project on Behance, post all the things that you've been working on, and we'll be able to see your progress and watch you grow, right? These challenges are not about having a final finished project. It's about understanding and growing and learning, and there's no wrong way to do that and no wrong way to show that. So make sure that you're posting on a Behance using that hashtag AI Daily Challenge. And yes, Giratima, the Mirage map, yes, I solemnly swear that I am up to no good today. Another thing that I want to call out is tomorrow, every Friday at 2:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, Nick Longo and I take on Adobe Office Hours. Right now we're doing Adobe Abroad, and so we'll be talking about Lightroom on mobile this week. So tune in for that. Set a reminder. You can click through on the schedule and set a little reminder there. All right, enough plugs, enough self-promotion, enough announcing where we are and what we're doing. Let's hop into our Daily Creative Challenge, and we have been doing reviews, which you can get signed up to right here, AI Discord, bit.ly/AI Discord, thank you. And that is a place where you can post your work, get some feedback, and a lot of people have been doing the challenges. We did this chain stitching from yesterday, which is a really fun challenge, and had a bunch of fun with the embroidery effects. So that was great. We may incorporate that again tomorrow or in another one of your projects. Hopefully you're loving it. Is Howard live tomorrow? I believe so. I believe that Howard is live tomorrow as well. He will be right after us. I think right after this show tomorrow. So tune in for that. And let's go ahead and hop into our lesson for the day. You guys know that what I love to do is have fun. We have been doing a Western theme. So if you're out of the loop, we're going to get started. We're going to jump into our lesson and do our Western theme. So continue the Dora the Explorer challenge. Can you find the map? right, we are back and we are here and we are ready to go with our challenge. We are in our western town and we are continuing on our journey. And on that journey, we're going to need a map because we're going to need to figure out where we are going. So today we're talking about grids and guides, as well as a concept called the rule of thirds. It's a concept that helps us understand and focus the eye as we look at a composition. So let's hop over into Illustrator. Today is a lot of theory and a lot of kind of showing you tips and tricks. And my hope is that you will explore and do your own thing, see what you can make with this challenge. There's no rules, there's no guidelines. Fly free, my friends. Yes, fly free. So today we are going to create a map with outline of a journey using custom brushes, textures, and shapes. The first thing that I want to show you is something called the rule of thirds. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to plug the Discord again. Make sure that you check out the Discord and you join our amazing community that is thriving there. And while I do that, that was really just me stalling so I could turn on my hotkeys because I know you all like to see those. So what we're going to do is we're just going to hit M right here and we're going to make 3 rectangles. I'm just going to click and drag and I'm holding Shift and Alt or Option to make 3 little rectangles. Now, if it's not snapping, which it's not right now, that means that your smart guides are turned off. They're very helpful, and so make sure you have your smart guides turned on, which is Control U, or just going to View and turning on those smart guides. And we're going to click and drag, holding Alt and Option, Alt or Option, sorry, and click and drag these so that they line up right on the edges there. Now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to drag this over and make sure that we're hitting the edge. Now, we're going to start using grids and guides. And the reason for doing guides is that it doesn't really busy up your board, but it allows you to place things where you need them to be. So rule of thirds, we want to make sure that we are matching things into thirds. And we actually need a 4th one here, if I remember correctly. So what we do is we need 3 lines in the middle, right? So we have these 3 lines. And what we're going to do is that's not correct. We need 3. This is correct. All right. So what we're going to do is we are going to hit Control R, or we're going to go to View and Show Rulers, which is, it's funny because you just know the hotkeys. There we go. Rulers and Show Rulers. And we're going to click and drag on this ruler right here and click and drag that over here. And what we'll do is we'll actually see that we have a nice little line. I had something on that I'm going to show you in a second. So we have this line now that is green, and we're going to drag one more out here. And that's going to allow us to delete these black boxes. And now we do have it split into thirds. Now we're also going to do that on the vertical. So I'm going to bring these back, and I'm just going to rotate. And then we can simply grab the edge and click and drag so that this rescales, so we still have those thirds. There are better ways to do rulers and guides. This is just the easiest way that I've learned. So use boxes. Anything you put on the artboard can be deleted, can be moved, so don't worry about it. Throw stuff on the artboard and you can deal with it later. So we're going to grab and again click and drag from the top here, and just click and drag onto that line, and you can see that it's making those green lines. Now, if we want to get rid of those, we can. Or if you're clicking and they're moving, what you need to do is, let's turn this off real quick. Let's unlock guides. So if you're clicking and dragging and they're moving, that means that your guides are turned on to unlocked. They are unlocked guides. You can click and drag wherever you want them. You can delete them by hitting delete if you want. But usually what you want to have is going to View, Guides, and then turn on lock guides, and that will make it so that we can't mess those up. We can't really mess around with those. Now, I want to pay attention to the rule of thirds, which means that we want to focus the eye in this area where things are crossing, right? This is photography principle, works well with design as well. So I want to map out where my destinations are with the map. What we're going to do is grab the rectangle tool and just click and drag, and we're going to hold Alt or Option to drag out a nice little space around this, with the center being in the middle here. Now this is just a rectangle, it is just a shape, but I don't want to have an extra shape floating on my artboard. So just like we made the rulers, we're actually going to turn this shape into a guide. Crazy, right? So we're going to go to View, Guides, and then Make Guides. You also can hit Control 5 if you want the hotkey. And what that's going to do is it's going to turn that rectangle into a guide. Pretty cool, right? And let's say we want maybe one more destination, and this is going to be a little rest stop, so we'll make it a little bit smaller. And we want to use an ellipse this time. So we're going to hit L or use the ellipse tool. We'll hover over here and click and drag, again holding Alt or Option. Just make a little oval here. And this oval also can turn into a guide, right? We don't want an extra shape on there that we don't want. So we're going to go to guides and again, make guides. And you can make guides out of any shape, out of any line, out of anything can be turned into a guide. As long as it is a path, you can click and it will make a guide. So maybe we want one more that is going to come up here, and this is going to be a rectangle. And this one is going to be some mountains eventually. So we're going to make a three-sided polygon, which is just a triangle. And we're going to put that right here so that it's visually aligned in the rule of thirds. And again, view, guides, and make guides. So you can see now that these guides are shapes. A lot of people just use lines, but you can use shapes. You also can hit the hotkeys Control and semicolon, and that will turn the guides on and off if you don't want to see them. If they're getting a little bit mucked up, you can kind of toggle those on and off. Now let's continue on and start looking at how we're going to map this out. I do want to have some names on here, and so I know that I want to have three destinations. One will be an oasis, one will be mountains, and then one will be a forest. So we're going to use simple shapes and build those out very quickly, and then I'm going to show you how to kind of label them and maybe add some texture and also chart your journey using the pencil tool. And hello from Turkey, Rashid, hello, merhaba, hello, hello. That's my favorite one. I've been to Turkey a couple times, and merhaba is my favorite greeting. So nice to see you. Welcome to the stream. Let's go ahead and hop in here and just make some quick little trees. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to make a nice little rectangle here. And I'm hitting M or using the rectangle tool. And then we're just going to rotate this. And I'm using R and then rotating by clicking and dragging. Then I can grab this little anchor point and just pull it out to the side here. Let's just do two of these. Super simple, super easy. And then we are going to select both and go to Transform, Reflect, and we're going to do Vertical. And instead of hitting OK, we're going to hit Copy. And Copy is going to flip it and make a copy of those shapes. So we can click and drag over here and have a nice little tree. We'll just group all of these together. And then we're going to shrink it down. And what we can do is use the color picker over here. You can see that that eyedrop is going to be something that changes that color. So we're going to grab this, and now we can use our guides to position perfectly of where we want this forest to go. So maybe in the middle, we want a very large tree, right? So this is going to be a large tree to signify this is the forest. It's the place to be. And we are going to make this a little bit of a different green color. Now, to use dimension, again, we used color and we used sizing to use dimension in our carnival game, break the plates kind of game yesterday. And you can incorporate that here as well. You can use a lot of different shapes and a lot of colors as well. So let's go ahead and drop some more in here. And what I'm doing is I'm just clicking and holding Alt or Option, and it's making a copy of it. I'm also hitting S for scale, and I'm just clicking and dragging down so that I can have a bunch of these kind of scaled in different sizes. Now, I'm going to show you the eyedropper tool again. And what I'm doing here is I'm making sure that I am staying within these guides that I've made, because I want to make sure that we're filling the space and keeping the eye centered on this little rectangle. So some small trees, maybe a little bigger one, and maybe a small one right here. So the eyedropper tool is used to copy something. So we can select an object, and if we want this green on another object, we can simply select the object that we want to change the color of, hit I, which is the eyedropper tool right over here underneath the mesh tool, and select the object. And it will definitely switch that color over, and it's basically picking up whatever is on that object and dropping it into the one you have selected. You can do this with multiple objects, so maybe we want a bunch of these to be that darker green. We simply are going to hit I, which is the eyedropper tool again, and click, and now we have an awesome little forest in that area. Now we're going to do an oasis over here, and we are going to just make an oval. Now we're going to hit L and make an ellipse that is right here. Again, using the eyedropper tool, we can just drop a blue color in here. and we're going to use an effect called roughen. So we're going to go to Effect, Distort and Transform, and roughen. And what this is going to do is it's going to make the edges all wibbly and wonky, just like a lake would be. So we hit roughen, and you can see there it's made everything really crazy, and we're going to change it to smooth. So you can see it's very sharp right now, and by changing to smooth, it's going to even those out a little bit. Now, the detail is going to be how many wiggles there are between each anchor point, right? There's an anchor point here and an anchor point here. And so we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We have 10 in there somewhere between. And so what we're going to do is I'm actually going to take this down, and this is the size. We're going to take this to about 1%, and then I'm going to bring the number of wiggles down just so we have a nice kind of subtle lakey view. Let's take that up a little bit. So we're going to hit OK. And now we have a nice little lake. And it's set in this section knowing that we wanted to fill that area and also make it so that there is a little bit of visual interest. Now, we're going to continue on and put in some mountains. And mountains, y'all, you know what we're going to do for mountains. Polygon tool, three-sided polygon, it's a triangle. We're just going to put a bunch of triangles in here. But this is a great way to practice with your guides. Now, if you do have smart guides turned on, which is View and then going to Smart Guides, you can use these guides that you've created and it will snap into these intersections. So now we can focus on having these mountains exactly where we want them, filling in the space and perfectly hitting these nice little edges without getting too distracting and too crazy. Maybe up here we'll just have a little small one. And from there, again, we can mix up and change the different colors that we want by simply clicking on the shape, going up to maybe the swatches panel or the color panel, and just picking different colors. So we'll do 2 colors for these mountains, a light one and then a very dark one. And what we can do is use the eyedropper tool again, hitting I, and we're going to click and it will copy what is on that shape onto the other shape. So it can be used for effects, it can be used for colors, it can be used for pretty much whatever, and it will copy what's already there. So let's put a couple more mountains here, and one more right there, and then let's do a tiny little one down here. Cool. So we're going to zoom out and check this out. So now we have our different locations, and right now it looks super structured, right? You're like, oh, it's on this grid, everything like doesn't look too organic. But if we hit Control and semicolon and turn off that grid, you can see that now it feels like it's a little more organic. It's intentional, but it's still plotted out and it is still hitting those rule of thirds. Now, we do need to name these areas, and I'm going to show you a little trick with naming and typography that will help you using the eyedropper tool. So we're going to use typography, and let's just make up some names here. Let's make this the distant forest. Distant forest. And let's break this onto 2 lines. Now I'm just using the type tools and the scale tool to play around with the different sizing of this type. And I'm going to hit Control or Command T, and that is going to bring up our type tool. I'm going to bring this a little bit closer together by changing the leading right there. You can see that hotkey. I'm just hitting Shift down. So we have this here, and I'm actually going to change this to 2 different typefaces. So we're going to double click to select the first word, and I'm going to set it to this type that I've created right here. And the second one is going to be a different typeface that I'll click and drag, and maybe it's this. Right, so we have 2 typefaces here that looks great. We are going to use the eyedropper tool again. Whatever we have selected, we use the eyedropper tool and then we'll drop onto there. So with the type selected, we can click, and now it is that dark green. Now we can use the eyedropper tool to break up type. So if we have typography and we double click and select just this word, you can use the eyedropper tool to then come over here and click, and now we have a 2-color type, right? You can use the eyedropper tool to augment anything. Now, here's the magic. The eyedropper tool can also be used with typography, so that if I click here and I type in the Misty Mountains, that's right, little reference feels right for what we're talking about. And what I'm going to do is literally just set this to a random font, right? So this is the wrong font, not what we're using. We can use the type tool and again, just select this and use the eyedropper tool. And the eyedropper tool will copy formatting as well. So not only is it going to change the color, it will copy the formatting of what I'm clicking on. So using the eyedropper tool with our type selected, it's going to copy that formatting perfectly. And we can click in here, select the mountains, which is the bottom, and click on this bottom part for the forest. And it's going to match all of that formatting perfectly to what we want it to be. And now again, we can select this type and use the eyedropper tool again to grab that nice color of the brown that we have, select mountains, and select that darker brown right there. So yes, you can use the eyedropper tool to copy formatting. Now we have about 3 minutes, so I'm going to show you one last thing, and we talked about it yesterday, but that is the pencil tool. So using the pencil tool, we can start our journey and loop around here, come up to the misty mountains, and then end at this lake. We are going to put a stroke on this and make sure that we have a nice stroke so that you can work through. And open the stroke panel, which is missing right now. If it's missing, you can go to Window and Stroke. And we're going to make it a little bit of a thicker stroke right there. And just like yesterday, we are going to use the dashed line feature. And that's going to create a nice little journey for us to follow along as we work here. Now, I do want to show you one more thing before we end, and that is using the pen tool to add some anchor points. So we're going to stop and start this by selecting our path, grabbing the pen tool, and just clicking on either side here. Now we're adding in some extra anchor points where we want our trail to start and stop. And maybe we'll do right there. So from there, with those anchor points, we can use the direct selection tool to go in wherever it's overlapping with our graphic and just delete it. And the path will actually update so that we don't have to see the extra little hatches, and we can make our path so that it is continuing as we go through our map. Now, you can add a whole bunch of texture. You can add some textures over here. You can add different locations, but make sure that you play around with creating guides. And maybe when you post in our Discord, post with your guides on so they can see that you understand how guides work, where you've placed things, and even making guides with shapes. Now you can post that right up here, bit.ly/AI Discord, and make sure that you are posting here in the challenge tab. So it is #challenge over in feedback, and create your maps, see what you come up with, and try to tell me a story. Now we talked about it ending on a town. So in yours, if you want to, you can end on a town. Here, I think we ended at the lake, which is maybe next to the town, but tomorrow we will be going into the town. We will be creating the town at dawn and dusk to get ready for our duel, and we'll be using the edit colors feature to change that. So it'll be very fun. We'll be building very quickly using simple shapes and then focus the rest of the time on how we can augment colors to create moods very easily. So thanks for tuning in. This was great. Let's take a look at the schedule of what's coming up for the rest of the day. And we have our friend Angela Freya is coming up right after this, doing some editorial design. I believe they started yesterday and they will be finishing today, so tune in for that. Andrea Eppy doing the XD Daily Creative Challenge. So tune into that. It's just like this, but in Adobe XD. And then Kyle Webster is doing a draw along at the afternoon of the day. I believe this is he did it yesterday as well. So I think this is the right schedule for today. And then at the end of the day, Alex Lazarus and Voodoo Val will be hanging out for a creative encore little watch party, doing the design off. So tune in for that. It's great. I love Alex. His work is amazing. Love Voodoo. She's awesome as well. So tune in for those. And there's going to be great programming for the entire rest of the day here on Adobe Live. There's nowhere to go. This is the place to be. Just stick around, hang out, and it's going to be a great time. And remember, if you have missed anything, or if you want to post, you can on Behance using behance.net or going to behance.net/challenge/illustrator to catch up. And if you are posting on Behance to get featured in the best of challenge category, use the #AI_Daily_Challenge. That'll get noticed by our moderators and get put into the running to be featured in this gallery. You get a nice little banner and sticker on your profile. And it's just a cool thing to connect with the community. So thanks for tuning in. I will see you tomorrow on our grand finale of our Western themed daily creative challenges. It's been fun. And if you've missed anything, we are doing a creative replay for the next 2 weeks. So you're stuck with me. We're going to see all of this again. I will see you all tomorrow on our finale. Stick around for what's next, and happy trails.